Welcome back to your industry news, certainly an episode that leans a little bit more heavily on Air India, so I'll break it up. Firstly, we'll start with Air India, then move into some A220 developments, and then conclude with the flag carrier of India once more. So why not take a look at the decision that was made just over a week ago to cut international flying in the wake of a fatal accident involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. The decision by Air India will continue into July and will result in a reduction of around 15% of international operations for a period that is across several weeks. The necessary inspections that are going to be undertaken on the fleet, which require a razor focus, have prevented the airline from really operating a regular schedule, and onlookers argue the decision to cut some of its flying is absolutely for the best. Air India says that a decision to cancel certain flights and adjust other routes is not just because of the ongoing need to maintain its fleet, but also in response to geopolitical tensions that are unfolding across the Middle East, which is not just affecting neighbouring airspace, but putting question marks on what the next few months hold. As for the aircraft focus, numerous inspections, as we know, have already been conducted on the 787 Dreamliner fleet, which was the primary focus following the incident. Air India aims to ensure that it has a stable operation, but also for its customers, it can provide the confidence they need to know that no stone is being left unturned in the overall rebuilding of its operation as safety checks are conducted, and they can come forward to their customers saying that the planes are ready to go. Naturally, the 787 remains the primary focus of these investigations, but Air India in a statement also confirmed that its inspections were going to extend to the Boeing 777 fleet as well. It certainly doesn't take weeks for one aircraft to be inspected, but given the airline's firm reliance on Boeing planes, each inspection must be conducted carefully, and the knock-on effect does impact the overall operation as one by one planes are checked out. All these inspections being driven by that 787-8 incident on a flight from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick, where shortly after departure, as we know, the plane went down. It was AI-171 operated by VT A&B. This particular aircraft in question had already completed more than 41,000 hours of flight time, and if we're looking at further data to accompany that, you're looking around 8,000 takeoffs and landings. The first flight in late 2013, with the delivery 1 month later into the brand new year of 2014. It means the jet went down at 11.5 years of age. Moving over to Breeze Airways, where we have some pretty exciting news. I wouldn't say it's necessarily fresh developments, but more so something we've heard about in the past and went cold. Breeze Airways has not for the first time expressed its desire to purchase a larger model in the Airbus A220 family. Dubbed by some as the A220-500, and certainly the way Breeze is describing it, they've repeatedly discussed what a larger A220 would do for their business across recent years. While the A320neo is certainly seen as the most visible upgrade from the A220-300, being the largest model in the regional jet series, this step up to the 320 model does not appeal to all operators. Breeze Airways has reaffirmed its belief that the A320neo would not be a good solution for its business. Analysts point towards a decision to go towards this type of plane only complexing its operations further, something that shouldn't need to happen and certainly would not be necessary. Speaking on LinkedIn around a week ago, David Neilman, the founder of JetBlue, but also Breeze Airways, further discussed the fleet makeup, stating that while history suggests Embraer was pivotal in getting their operations off the ground, things are changing. Neilman says the A220 is the plane that can now fly additional distances, a fully transcon plane, and the E2 isn't that, making the A220 the optimal choice. Addressing a stretch of the A220, Neilman said that the newer technology, which will replace the current airplane and add to the A220's capacity, remains of high interest internally. The next iteration will have greater fuel burn, a lighter structure, and a seating configuration that is also deemed more optimal to address the business requirements and serve the route network. At this stage, no name has been provided for the new iteration that Airbus is studying. However, Neilman, he refers to it as the 500, specifically the A220-500, as of which it has been dubbed for many years. But again, I'll confirm by no means what it has been confirmed by Airbus to be. As for why the A220-500 as we'll run with at the moment, or certainly certainly a higher capacity variant is being talked about more. Well, it's driven by comments from the Airbus CEO just around a couple of weeks ago around this variant. With the process to approve the jet and get it to market likely to commence by the end of the year, Airbus is looking at an opportunity to add capacity to the A220-300. The modifications stem from the requirement for an additional overwing exit and ensuring that the plane remains safe to operate in the event of a potential emergency. We know the jet must be compliant to enter service. It also must be something that's required. While Breeze Airways certainly has emerged as an airline that is interested in such a type, they aren't the only ones. Latvian flag carrier Air Baltic has also held very public talks for a prospective A220-500 with the belief that the additional capacity would elevate their operations tenfold, and if actually launched, they would not hesitate to move in this direction. Airbus does face competition from Embraer's E2 series, however, knowing that Boeing hasn't produced an alternative gives them as a plane maker a greater opportunity to develop the jet in a bid to attract more customers. Over to the final story, and that's back with Air India, and it once again centers around the cut of flights, but not focusing on cuts with wide-body aircraft this time. The airline confirmed it would make more temporary reductions to its network to enhance reliability, but the temporary reduction, which will last until the 15th of July at the earliest, is for its narrow-body network, a 5% give or take reduction. Described as a voluntary decision, the frequency has been affected across 19 routes, but there's also been a temporary suspension across 3 routes. Air India hopes that with all the adjustments, it'll be able to minimize further disruptions to its passengers, while having greater stability in the wake of challenging times for the brand. Flight AI 2392-2393 towards Singapore, which previously operated daily from Bengaluru, will also be suspended. There are also then 2 more routes on your screen now that will be axed. Air India says it apologizes for the effects these operational disruptions are going to have on passengers, but they are already making the necessary steps to offer alternative flying means and accommodation where required. Even with the changes, the company says that there will still be 600 plus narrow-body flights on a daily basis, a network that Air India believes for the moment is manageable, and that's really been the goal, to get a network they believe is manageable. While route suspensions are the landmark changes that have unfolded, there are also quite a very long list of routes that will see reduced flying. Instead of spending the next 20 minutes listing out all of these, the reductions, the cities, and more, I'll put on your screen now a screenshot of the routes that will have reduced flying. You've got the origin point, the end point. You then have the ability to see the initial weekly services and what the updating revised schedule will be through to mid-July. So feel free to take the opportunity now to pause the video before I move on to the conclusion. And that will conclude today's industry recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. Do take care, do be safe, and I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your next industry recap.